My dad was cleaning out his den and he came across this, a mini pack style hammock. It's a nylon string hammock. It says it rolls into a fist-sized ball, weighs 10 ounces, and is ideal for, let's see, trailers, hunters, scouts, campers, autos, poolside picnickers, boats, hikers, backpackers, I'm not sure what the difference is there, cyclists, fishermen, homes, patios, or just relaxing. Use as a hammock, emergency stretcher, snare, emergency rope, dunk bag, or off-ground storage. So, many uses for this, theoretically. You see, I've got a pretty good-sized fist, and this is actually about double the size of my fist, I would say. I mean, maybe you could compress it more, but now it's bigger than the fist. So there's a little hyperbole there. As I remember right, my aunt, who we called Tia Dia, gave us each one of these, I don't know, 45 years ago, and this has been in my dad's closet ever since. I don't know that he ever used it. This is both a trip down nostalgia lane and also to see if maybe, now that I understand hammocks a little bit better, if I can get some use out of it. What you have is essentially a nylon net, stainless steel O-ring with a nylon rope attached to it. It's not looking very robust. Definitely not a high quality weld on that O-ring. There's nothing on the box that talks about a weight limit for the hammock, which would make me a little nervous because I'm pushing 190 pounds right now, which is not great. This nylon hammock is only 8 feet long from the rings that the suspensions attach to. I've laid it out on the ground next to a 10-foot gathered end hammock and an 11-foot gathered end hammock to give you an idea of the relative length we're talking about here. So how wide is this netted wonder? That's really hard to say because of its structure. Its width depends on how far you're willing to stretch it sideways versus its length. It could be 0 inches long, but 6 feet wide. Another issue with this hammock is the nylon rope they use for the suspension. This is loosely braided, very slippery, low quality plastic rope. Of course, you also have to tie it around the tree, which is not very convenient. Here I've used a trucker's hitch, and I'll take the running end of the line and I'll put it around a branch on the back side of the tree or branches to hold the hammock up. One of the things I can see will be a problem right away is just getting into the hammock. The more pressure you put on this, the more it wants to fold up, so keeping it spread out while you get in can be a real challenge. You have to hold that up. Say a small prayer. Whoa, whoa, that's not too smooth. Alright, so already the belt loops, even the stitching on my pockets are catching in the net of the hammock, which is making moving around in this really tough. This is not easy at all. And it really does not want to give me a foot box. Like trying to get a diagonal lay is going to be really hard. I'm obviously way too big for this hammock. It's like trying to put on a t-shirt that's 3 sizes too small. Getting this so that my shoulder is in on one side and my feet are in on the other. Yeah, it's not happening. It's just not what I would call comfortable, even for a short little nap or something. The only way to lay in this for somebody my size is to be basically, you know, banana hang, which even that, you know, my feet are really pinched together, my knees are pinched together, because again, with the tension on the sides, it just wants to fold up, and I can't keep my shoulder inside the hammock. If I try to lay on even at least a little bit of diagonal, my shoulder's basically hanging out. My feet want to hang out on the other side. Lines are cutting into the point of my elbow there. And if I lay straight, like this, now it cuts into both elbows, plus making me a banana. And it still has my shoulders popping out. Talk about shoulder squeeze. It's like shoulder pop you out of the hammock. It's really hard to move around in this. There's no sliding on the net. And even if you do try to, any stitching or anything that protrudes on your pants catches in the netting, like the stitching on the corners of my pockets, my belt loops, the waistband of my pants. It all seems to just catch on the netting, want to hold you in place. It's just not working. Now, could I use a pad to make this work a little better? I don't know. If you're going to use this to camp, you definitely need under insulation. I don't think a pad of a normal size is going to fit in this, but we'll try. This is just a closed cell foam pad. I have a bad feeling about this. Nope. Wow. Oh, the pad's twisted even worse than it was. Nope. Wow. Trying to center the pad in here is almost impossible when you're trying to get into it. Nope, there's no way. That is not going to work. This is not a very comfortable sitting hammock. It tends to bunch up on the back of your legs, on the back of your thighs, and that'll cut into it, and there's no support for you to lean back. You could fix the suspensions by taking off the ropes and using tree straps. That would give you a longer reach and it would be easier to hang the hammock, but there really isn't much point because the hammock itself is just too small, at least for somebody like me, and it's really not designed to be used for camping. I think getting any type of under insulation on here would be a real challenge. The company that made this seems to be out of business, so I didn't see anything online as far as hammocks for imports from that company anymore. There are web hammocks like this, however, still online. They're mostly made out of paracord, or they appear to be made out of paracord, which would be bigger than the mesh webbing on this hammock. So after seeing how bad the little nylon string hammock was, I bought a more modern paracord version of it. These are all over the place online. So I wondered, well, maybe this is better. So our green hammock is about 7 feet 4 inches long, or about 224 centimeters. The diamonds between the knots, or the weave of the hammock, is much looser than the string hammock. Alright, this old web hammock with the ropes for the suspension is 239 grams, or 8.45 ounces. The paracord hammock is 356 grams, or 12.55 ounces. Getting in is a bit easier, but you still can't maneuver in it because anything you have that catches in a diamond holds you in place. And, you know, I still can't get a good diagonal lay in this thing. The gaps are so big, it's really uncomfortable. The paracord is cutting in. You can see my shoulders really got a lot of shoulder squeeze here. My elbow sticks right through the hammock. So even on the back of my head, you feel those lines and then the knots between the lines. My foot sticking right through the hammock. This is just not comfortable. Even as a casual lay down and nap in it hammock, it's really bad.